Hey, it's Dr. Jared. If you have lower back pain right now and would like it to feel better, or if you've had lower back pain in the past and would like to prevent that from happening again in the future, you're in the right place. This video is for you. In this video, I want to share with you 6 simple exercises that you can do right at home that will not only help lower back pain to feel better right now, but these exercises have also been proven to prevent future episodes of lower back pain as well. Now, in my experience as a physical therapist, there are 2 major factors that contribute to most instances of lower back pain. The first one is a lack of hip mobility, and the second one is a lack of core strength. Basically, your hips need to be very mobile, and if they're not, your lower back has to compensate for that lack of mobility, often resulting in pain. Second, your core should be very strong to support your spine and to support your vertebrae. If it's not, instability, overuse, overexertion can ensue. And so if we want to eliminate lower back pain now and prevent it from coming back in the future, those are 2 factors that we certainly need to work on. That's exactly what you're going to get in this video. I've got 3 great stretches for your hips, 3 great strengthening exercises for your core, and between those 6 exercises, hopefully you start to feel a lot better. And so let's get started with the first stretch. We're gonna do a lumbar rotation stretch. This is great for your hips and your lower back as well. Lay down on your back with both knees bent. What we're going to do is just drop both knees down to one side. Right now I'm going over to my left until I get a good comfortable stretch all through basically the right side of my lower back, and my right hip, kind of the right glute area, is gonna feel this one as well. You're gonna take that as far as you can into a comfortable position, hold that for about 20 seconds, and then repeat that over here to the right side as well to stretch the left side out. Now, depending on how severe your lower back pain might be, that might be a pretty good stretch for you. But if it's not bad, if you feel like you can do more, I always like to progress that with a one-legged version of that lumbar rotation stretch. So now what I'm going to do is extend my left leg out straight. With my left hand, I'm gonna grab the outside of my right leg, and now I'm gonna use my left hand to pull that right knee over towards my left, or over towards you. Keep your shoulders down. We're trying to create separation basically between the shoulders and the hips. And again, just till we get a good stretch into the lower back, and you're gonna feel that in the back side of the hip as well. And once again, I would repeat that one over to the other side as well. Oh man, that's a little bit tighter on me coming this way. And so we're gonna repeat that to both sides, 20 seconds, 3 times. That's 2 variations on that stretch. Do whichever one feels the best to you. The next stretch that I always show people, or that I like to give people with lower back pain, is going to be a piriformis stretch, or a variation on a stretch to kind of your deep hip. The first thing that I'll always start with is, if you're laying on your back, I'm gonna bring this left leg up and I'm gonna pull it into my chest. But I don't wanna pull it just straight into my chest. I'm gonna take that left knee and I'm actually gonna pull it up at an angle over towards my right shoulder, just until I get a good stretch down here deep in the left glute. And again, this is where I like to start with people. If that feels good, if that's comfortable to you, you can hold that 20 seconds and repeat it 3 times, and then we're gonna do it on the other side as well. The more advanced version of the piriformis stretch, for those of you who might not be in as much pain, or if you have a little more range of motion, would be I'm going to cross my left leg over my right. Now with my hands, I'm gonna grab right here behind my right knee and then pull that up. So I'm pulling my right knee up towards my chest. And that introduces more rotation and more flexion into your hip to just give a much bigger stretch here to kind of the deep hip, the piriformis and the deep hip rotators. And so I would hold that in a comfortable position for 20 seconds. I would repeat that 3 times on the left, and then I would do 3 times 20 seconds on the right as well, just to keep things equal and balanced. And then the last exercise, or the last stretch that I have for you, is going to be a cat-camel stretch. Now, this one's actually great for your spine. We want to work some motion and mobility through your spine, because most likely, if it's painful, it's also tight. And so this is how we're going to do that, or this is one of my favorite ways to do that. What I want you to do is you're going to go down on all 4s, and then in this position, we're going to get into like an angry cat stretch. If you've ever seen like an angry cat and it's got its back arched, that's where it gets its name. So from here, what I want you to do is rock your hips backwards. And so you'll see that I've tucked my hips underneath myself to kind of flatten my back out a little bit. That's where we work the motion in the hips and in the back. And then the rest of my back, I also want to let that arch up towards the ceiling. So it looks just like this. It's just a big arch through my back, feeling that stretch basically from your neck all the way to your tailbone. You're gonna hold that for about a 5-second count, and then we're gonna get down into the cow or the camel position. What do you call it? Do you call it a cow or a camel? Basically, it looks like this. I can see both. And so now what we're gonna do is we're going to pull our hips forward. So tuck your hips forward to create an opposite arch in your back. So now it's this arch where I'm getting my stomach, I'm letting my stomach hang down towards the table, and then I'm looking up with my eyes as well. And we're gonna hold that position for about a 5 or 10-second count, and then get back up into that angry cat position. And again, this is a great way that you can just work mobility through your hips, that you can work mobility through your lower back. And this is just a great way that you can get things moving again. Just get some motion in your back, get some motion in your hips, get them nice and mobile, nice and loosened up. That's a really great stretch. So those are the stretches that I like. What about core strength? Well, those are the next 3 exercises that I want to show you. Strengthening the core is just a great way to prevent that lower back pain in the future. So these are the exercises that I like for that. First things first, let's get started with some bridges. You're going to lay down on your back with your knees bent. What I want you to do is contract your glutes and use that contraction to lift your hips up towards the ceiling. You're going to hold this position for about a 3 to 5 second count and then return right back down. Now the thing about your lower back is that it loves to work with your hip extensors or your glute muscles. So if we can fire those glutes and cause that lower back to extend as well, it's a great position for your back to be in. It's a great strengthening exercise for your lower back. And in my experience, most people are really tolerant to this exercise. 3 sets of about 10 to even 20 reps, so about 30 to 60 reps is a great number to shoot for with this exercise. Next, this is going to be one of my favorites. This is going to be a bird dog exercise. You're going to get, once again, onto all fours. Now in this position, try to kick your right leg straight back behind you. Do not let your hip roll up towards the ceiling, and don't let it drop down towards the floor. So we're keeping the hip nice and level as we extend that right leg straight back. If that feels okay, and if you can do more, what I want you to do is lift that left arm straight in front of you in this position right here. So that's what the full bird dog looks like. Hold 1, 2, and then return back down to the starting position. Now we're going to repeat with the left leg and the right arm. Up into this position, hold 1, 2, and then return right back down. Now, for some people, this is a real struggle. There's a lot of motion, it's really wiggly, it's really loose. If that's you, that's an indication that this is something that we need to work on. We need to strengthen those muscles, we need to make them nice and strong so that your muscles can support and stabilize your back. And so it looks just like that. A good number to shoot for is 3 sets of 10, work up to 3 sets of 20 repetitions on this bird dog. Those first 2 core exercises were for your back and for your hips. Let's work on the front. Let's work on the stomach muscles as well and the core stabilizers. A great way to do that is with a plank exercise. We can start with modified. And so what I want to do is I've got my elbows under my shoulders. What I'm going to do is lift my hips, my pelvis up off of the floor, use the tummy muscles, contract through that stomach to hold this position. If that feels okay, if you need something more, what we can do is get up into a full plank position. Now I'm up like this on my elbows and on my toes. But the mechanics are still the same. I'm using those stomach muscles to contract and hold my hips up off of the table. I don't want your hips to be too high. I don't want them to be way down here too low. If they're too low, that causes this big arch in your back. What I want you to do is try to actually, there we go, engage your core muscles and hold your back nice and flat. So it's not this right here, it's this right here. And you'll feel those stomach muscles kick on and engage. This is a great way to strengthen those muscles to help support and stabilize your back without a lot of motion going on. So it's not like a sit-up or a crunch where there's a ton of motion going on. 20 seconds is what I typically shoot for to start, and we do that 3 times, but if you can do more, hold it for 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 60 seconds. Try to challenge yourself, try to progressively do more. That's how you feel better now, and that's how you prevent pain from coming back in the future. If you'd like more exercises to work on hip and back mobility, check this one out right here. If you'd like some more core exercises, here's a great video to check out. If you'd like to subscribe to Tone and Tighten and haven't done so already, hit the circle right here. I'd love to see you back for future videos. Hope this helps, and we'll see you again soon.